Defenders, welcome to our very first Facebook Live interview. Before we get started, first and foremost, I want to thank you all for being part of the group. I appreciate the engagement and discussions that's been going on the past month and a half, 2 months we've been up. My main goal, for some of you guys who've been wondering, my main goal for this group is to be the #1 resource for all the active duty and veterans in the health and fitness community, whether that be CrossFit, bodybuilding, strongman, obstacle course race, you name it. My mission is to provide you guys with the support and resources you guys need to help you crush your goals. So if you guys know of any other veterans, active duty members, or in the fitness community that are looking for that support, the guidance or resources that they need, whether it be in the fitness business or just fitness in general, I would appreciate if you can share and tell them about the group that I know will be of benefit to them. All right. So with that being said, thank you guys again for joining us here. Welcome to the Defender Facebook Live. We're going to talk about fitness and business with veterans in the industry, their highs and lows, what led them to their passion, and how their service helped them get to where they are today. All right. I'm your host, Raiden Dinicio, and today we are joined by Curtis Romano. Curtis Romano is a USMC veteran who is now a CrossFit level 2 trainer and owner of CrossFit Axon. So Curtis, welcome to the live, and can you go ahead and make an introduction?
Yeah, hey, thanks, Raiden. My name is Curtis. We have me and my wife, we own a gym called CrossFit Axon out in Charlotte, North Carolina. We've been open since 2014. Before even getting involved in CrossFit, I've definitely been a constant student of strength conditioning principles, and I've just loved exercise ever since growing up all the way until preparing to join the military and then on. So I'm definitely glad to be on this broadcast.
Well, like I said, thank you for joining us. So Curtis, my first question to you is, when did you serve, and what was your biggest takeaway from your time in service?
I was in the Marine Corps from 2002 until 2007. I think my biggest takeaway, man, that's a lot. That's a pretty loaded question. Biggest thing I learned was how to just really work together as a team, and just how important that can be, just in various aspects of it. And also there's a lot of takeaway that I think people undermine of things that you learn in the military that have a huge carryover into the civilian sector. And some people just don't know how to apply it onto paper or apply it to their lives once they get out. So just really being able to determine a clear set of goals while I was in that I was able to use when I got out.
Excellent. So you said 2002 to 2006?
7. I was in for 5.
7. Where were you stationed at, brother?
I was mostly Lejeune, but I was in the infantry battalion, and I went to Afghanistan in 2004, and then I went to Iraq. I did a deployment in Iraq from 2005 to 2006, and then another deployment to Iraq in 2007.
Okay. I spent my first 3 years with 1st Battalion, 7th Marines in 29 Palms.
29 Palms, man. You gotta love it.
I don't know if you've ever been there for training, but yeah.
I did 3 CAXs out there.
Yeah, there's nothing much out there but the sand and dirt.
No.
But so I appreciate you sharing your experience in the service. For any of those that are maybe wanting to serve, what would your message be to those people, and what can you say to the people that are still serving now?
For those that want to serve, I would say look at what your goals are. Look at what you want to do. Be honest with yourself with your goals, and really play to your strengths very well. Let's say if you wanted to get into some kind of combat arms, make sure that you stay physically fit and really challenge yourself with critical skills or stressful scenarios of thinking on your feet, but if you want to have that, if you want to get involved in being a combat cameraman, make sure you study up and research about, videography and photography and learn those skill sets before going in to get you ahead for those pros and cons. And definitely you just want to overall stay healthy and physically fit. For those still in now, I say look at what you want to do. If you're planning to get out, come up with a goal now. I know so many dudes that got out and they were just lost. They just didn't know what to do with themselves. They ended up back home doing the same jobs that their mom and dads were doing back home. That's not really what they wanted to do, but they just, you're in an environment right now where it's very goal oriented. And then when you get out and you don't have any specific goals, you end up feeling lost or just feeling like there's nothing going on for you. So really figure out what you want to do. If you get out in your first enlistment, you're going to be working for another 35 years of your life. Like, don't do something you hate. And if you're sticking in for the long haul, if you're staying in for 20, you still got another 20 years when you get out, of work to do. So find your passion, find something you love. And we'll talk about that later. But, or even if you're going to be in for 30 years, life's not over after the military.
Yeah. Hey, that's an excellent point that you brought up there, brother. Some people, they don't really think of the long term, instead think of the short term, right? Some people that are in now, that might be, not in the best conditions where they're at, station or, duty wise. And all they can talk about is, F this, F that. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And I want to get out. And, they find out when they get out, when they don't have that plan set in place, it's a lot harder, than they thought it was going to be, right?
And there's no excuses for it now because the internet is at everyone's fingertips. You have access to free education through things like broadcasts and webinars or YouTube or Google, and figure out, you have time while you're in some sucky duty station to figure out what you're going to love doing.
Excellent. So since we're talking about the, transitioning out of the military, let's talk about your transition out of the Marine Corps. How was your experience and what led you to, what you're doing now today as a CrossFit owner and a trainer? So when I got out, I was still on terminal leave and I applied to be a security contractor, and I did that. I lived in Afghanistan for 6 years doing security contract work through 2 different contracts. And so that was good. Was putting a good amount of money away, and I trained a lot, and that's what I actually started getting into powerlifting after the Marine Corps. And I was following a program called 531 by John Windler, Jim Windler, and I pretty much got bored of that. Just focusing on my squats, my deadlift, and my bench. I think had I discovered the conjugate method at the time with Westside Barbell, I probably would have stuck with powerlifting. I just got bored. I'm just focusing on 3 lifts. I wanted something different, and I put on a good amount of size I have a really small frame. I put on a good amount of size for my frame, and just got tired all the time. So I knew I wanted to switch over to something that involved more aerobic capacity, but still wanted to maintain my strength. And that's when I started doing CrossFit football, which was a good happy medium for what I wanted and what I was doing at the time with my job. After that, my last contract, doing PSD work, I just got, it was good, but it wasn't going to last forever. Hey. It was good. It wasn't going to last forever, and I knew that. So as a result, I started looking for other things. I really started looking at, I really wanted a family, and me and my wife, my girlfriend at the time, we were talking, about what we wanted with our lives. She had a good background involving physical fitness. My parents owned businesses growing up, and we really wanted to implement something that would be a great environment to raise a family in. And we wanted to be surrounded by other families at the same time. So that was really important to me. That led to my transition for me and my wife to open up our facility. I think that's another great point. I think what most people, what CrossFit attracts is, you know, the sense of community, the sense of brotherhood, right? That,
Yeah.
you know, some veterans and, you know, that were kind of missing when they left the service. So let's talk about your time in the Marine Corps. How did that help you with your current business and your passion right now?
Um, I would say just being very goal driven and goal oriented and very I didn't do a very good job just with this interview, but just being very punctual is really important to me. Um, but just having that clear directive, but you got to be able to, when you're in the civilian world, there's no commanding officer giving you that 5 paragraph order. You have to create that yourself and figure out, you know, what you have to do. And then that's the nice thing about the military is all those op orders and mission planning, you know, acronyms are very applicable to the civilian sector. And as long as you use those to make a clear goal for what you want to do, it really makes a big benefit once you get out.
Excellent. So let's go over time frame here. You say you got out in 2007, and then you did some contracting work, correct?
Right.
And then from there you got into powerlifting, and you say you did some CrossFit football. Yep. Now, how did you end up, you know, owning or becoming a trainer and, you know, owning your own CrossFit box?
So at the time, before I met my wife, Carrie Ann, I was just going to a local, when I was home in the States, I was only home 3 months a year. So when I did come home, I'd go to this other gym, so the CrossFit gym down the road, and I'm still good friends with the owner. I would go work out there, and I was like, you know what, this looks like a really good business plan. I think I would really like to invest in a CrossFit facility, but I really wanted to just be a hidden investor. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go take my level 1 just to get an idea of what they learn. And so that's pretty much what I did. I went and it's like $1,000 to go take your level 1.
Yeah.
They do give a military discount, but I didn't even apply for it. I just didn't even think about it. So I signed up for my next level 1 that I would be home for. I got the manual. I read it like twice. I think reading other strength conditioning manuals, a lot of good carryover stuff. I think the level 1 is focused a lot more on movement than what you're going to see out of, whereas a lot of other manuals it's almost like they expect you to know how to move. So I went and took the level 1 and took the test and passed. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And at the time I was asking other trainers in the area, hey, I would love to open up a gym for you and financially back you. And none of them really wanted to do it. And I think a lot of it just people are afraid of the unknown. And so that's what led to saying, okay. And then when I was contracting my last year, I was stationed in Bagram Air Force Base. And there's a CrossFit gym there called CrossFit Vultures. And I went there and I just said, hey, I want to coach, just to get some volunteer time, just to really apply what I think are great strength conditioning principles. And so I started coaching there for their 7 p.m. class. And the coaches, it's all volunteer. The coaches get to write their own workouts, which is exactly what I wanted, because I thought, some other trainers were doing things differently than what I want. So that really taught me a lot about time management in the class, room management, because you only had so much space available if anyone's ever been to CrossFit Vultures, you know what I'm talking about. It's not ideal for a regular CrossFit facility. So I learned a lot about how to apply those factors. And that's when it really just sunk in. Like, I remember one day I got done coaching the class. And I was like, I could do this forever. Like, I loved this. Like, I would look forward to doing that, waking up every day and going to go coach. And so was a good idea. Okay. And Carrie Ann was on board. And so that's when I was like, let's do it.
So from there, you guys opened up your own CrossFit box?
Yeah, we were planning to open up a little later than we did. We ran into some issues with the company I was working for. They got kicked out Iraq or Afghanistan at the time. So we lost our contract. Like I was planning to do like another 6 months there. So we kind of had to rush into it at full force. Either that or we wait a whole nother year and I start contracting again, because typically you're not going to be able to quit within 6 months. So we had jumped straight into it and got things rolling.
Wow, that's awesome, bro. So you said you kind of rushed into, or you were kind of forced into getting this business started early. There's a whole, as you know, there's a whole lot of things that goes on with starting the business. So can you tell us, like, what was your worst moment so far?
Man, opening up in that location. Worst moment it was opening up in that location. I wish I waited 6 months to open up where we are now, because 6 months, the spot we're at now, was in a better location. You know, where we were, the rent was crazy high. It was in a retail spot, which really doesn't benefit you. You know, the space was small. We've increased our size. We've doubled our size, and we're paying half the rent where we're at now. So I think I wish, because 6 months after we moved in there, this spot where we're at now was open. And I remember looking at it on the LoopNet, be like, man, I would love to have a space like that. That would be sweet. But we were smart enough to only sign a 2-year lease and say, you know what? Okay, now it's time to, at the end of that 2 years, the spot opened up again, and we're like, let's jump on that. And there's other little mistakes, you learn later on that most people don't care if you have the fanciest equipment or not. People just want to go there and train, and most people aren't that worried about it. You're doing some quality stuff, but you don't need, everything doesn't need to be what's on the CrossFit Games. People want to go there. Most people don't know the difference between Rogue or Penlay or X training equipment or Soren X, or Get RX. Most of your average people doing CrossFit, they're not going to notice the difference.
Yeah, that's a great point that you brought up right there. Is when people go to the gym, right? They're more of trying to get the results that they want, right? Like most people don't really care, like you said, what they're working with, as long as they get the results that they need. Hey, I think they're happy with it, and that goes along with the community as well. If you guys are doing your part with serving the clients, and they're happy, then so be it, right?
Yep.
Now we talked about your worst moment so far in your business. What was the best moment so far, or what has been the best moment so far?
I would say either getting into this space, I would say, has been the best moment so far in terms of the business. That's been really good. Honestly, getting involved with the Vetpreneur Tribe has been really good. Learning a whole lot about figuring out, there's a lot of other smaller victories. Honestly, really learning that, starting learning. Recently, I've been getting into audiobooks, and that's been huge. A lot of benefits out of there as well. I hate reading. I feel like just sitting down reading a book is a waste of my time, and I hate wasting my time.
Yeah.
So I feel like discovering audiobooks have been really great for me to maximize my time. I can listen to an audiobook, I can eat, and I'm taking notes. So I can accomplish a lot more at one time, and that makes me feel more accomplished out of that. So that's a really small victory, but it's a big one for us.
Audiobooks and podcasts, man. That's I've been big on both of those. Like you said, sometimes we can't find the time to sit down and actually read a book. So audiobooks have been a big help to self-development and leadership stuff like that. Hey, and shout out to the any members in the Vetpreneur Tribe here. Awesome group, man. Like you, I've benefited from all the veterans who are kicking butt in their business in there. So
yeah, they are.
All right, Curtis. So we might have some viewers or listeners who who are maybe in a situation where they're wanting to or looking into, maybe starting their own CrossFit box or becoming a CrossFit level 1, level 2 trainer, what piece of advice would you give them?
Yeah. A good athlete doesn't make a good coach. Okay. A good coach doesn't make a good owner. Okay. So you don't have to be the best. Like, there's a reason Matt Frazier is not a CrossFit trainer. There's a reason Ben Bergeron, who coaches Matt Frazier, is not the world's fittest man. So let's say if you want to become a level 1 trainer or get a certified personal trainer, you don't have to be the greatest, most in shape dude, but you need to know how to move. You need to know how to be able to cue other athletes to move and move efficiently. I know guys that are great athletes within the local area, but in terms of coaching cues and getting people to understand how to move, is something they struggle with. Just because you can move well as an athlete doesn't mean you're going to be able to get someone else to do that. So as a coach, you need to be able to present things differently to different members on how they can move effectively and safely and improve their capacity in whichever way they want to reach their goals. To be a good owner is not coaching every single hour of the day. You got to be able to, and this is something I'm still working on and still learning, is working more in the business, working more on the business and not in the business, getting to the point where I'm more working behind the scenes, less coaching, and getting to that place where things are more automized and systemized, where they're working on their own. And then that'll create a better work-life balance for me and my wife. And that's going to create a better revenue balance as well coming into the facility.
That's a great piece of advice there, brother. Excellent, man. So if you guys are out there watching, make sure you guys give us a like. I love share this interview. Curtis Romano, USMC veteran, CrossFit level 2 owner of CrossFit Axon, dropping some good advice here. So Curtis, coming up on the last portion of our interview here, can you tell us an internet resource that some of our listeners and viewers can use to assist them in their fitness goals?
Yeah, man, I really like. I'll shout off a few. I would say Power Athlete, which is run by John Wellborn, really great source, wealth of information. Look at either Renaissance Periodization or Precision Nutrition for nutrition stuff. The CrossFit Journal puts out some really good information too. Juggernaut Training Systems puts out a lot of good stuff. Mobility Wad put out some good stuff to help keep your body nice and healthy. I think there's some pretty good starting points. Trying to think what else would be a really good one. Juggernaut. And yeah, I think your Juggernaut is going to hit a lot of your strongman. It's going to hit your Olympic weightlifting, your powerlifting. If they don't hit strongman up, then I would hit up Hybrid Athlete or Lift Big, Eat Big. Your nutrition stuff, Precision Nutrition, Renaissance Periodization. And then for your CrossFit Journal, if you're doing any specific sports training, Power Athlete will be huge. For a lot of your power-based sports, football, baseball, things like that, John Wellborn's a wealth of information. Those would be, if you do any triathlons, I would hit up aerobiccapacity.com with Chris Henshaw, or even marathons, half marathons, endurance-based training, things like that. OCR guys, I don't have a whole lot for you. I think CrossFit Journal hits good amount. Check out some mountain climbing stuff and I'm sure there's some other good OCR information out there that I've not tapped into yet.
Awesome, brother. That's excellent. That's a whole lot of information and resources for our listeners. So I appreciate that. And Mobility Wad, definitely check that out. I've used that many times in the past, and definitely a great resource. All right, so coming up on the last portion here, we're going to go over some 5 questions in regards to your fitness, Curtis. You
Mhm.
ready?
Yep.
All right. So what is your favorite workout?
Favorite workout, man. I would say Volkswagen. It is 21-15-9, a bench press at your body weight, and then pull ups. You can do them strict, or you can do them kipping. And I would, if you can, test both of them. But it's a good push pull workout. That, or there is the clean ladder from the CrossFit Games a couple years ago. But I'm not as strong as those dudes, so just scale the weight to what you can do. I did the women's weight from the CrossFit Games, and I would have placed like 15th. So I'd be like a really pretty decent CrossFit Games female athlete. Those women are insane. That one's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, they're beasts, man. There's nothing wrong with going scale because as long as you're doing it right.
That's right. No, but a good clean ladder, like the one from the Games a couple years ago, was definitely a lot of fun. Yep.
All right. So going over your favorite, what's your least favorite workout?
Really don't have any. I would say, I guess if I had to pick one, it'd be Karen, 150 wall balls. I'm 5'8", and so maybe 5'7.5", and just it's a long way to throw that ball up there, man.
Yeah.
Pretty short guy. That or 5K run. You know, I don't have that distance in me. I used to be a sub 18 3-miler, but not anymore.
All right. So if you had to choose one person, who would you want to train with and why?
John Wellborn. The dude is super smart. He can give you information. And not only is he smart, he used to play in the NFL. I think he's a linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs or defensive lineman, but just a beast of a man. So super strong, but just conversing with him while training. I mean, he can give you wealth of information from rehabbing your knee and other strength conditioning principles for that to, what do you do with a 12-year-old? How do you train a 12-year-old up? And, he's made tons of mistakes within his strength conditioning career playing professional football. That guy, and he's also trained with some of the best. He's trained with Louis Simmons from Westside Barbell, and he's trained with a lot of the top trainers from CrossFit, other CrossFit facilities. The dude is super smart, and he's not your one-size-fits-all approach. So, yeah, he would be a lot of fun to train with.
Say that name one more time.
John Wellborn. He runs Power Athlete.
Okay. All right. Next question. Recommend a book for our viewers and listeners to read.
I would say for gym owners or potential gym owners, check out Pumpkin Plan. I would say for coaches, I would say I think one of my favorites was Olympic Weightlifting for Sports. So there's the sport of Olympic weightlifting, which is just your clean, your jerk, your split jerk and snatch. But then there's, how do you apply Olympic weightlifting for other forms of athletic training? And that's a great book, real easy to read. I think it was written by Greg Everett from Catalyst Athletics, another good resource for Olympic weightlifting. And then I would say if you're just learning to exercise and learning to work out, I would honestly say 531 by Jim Wendler is a great basic strength protocol. Easy to learn, easy to apply. A lot of good information on there.
Excellent. And last question here. Tell us your favorite quote and why.
Oh, my favorite quote and why. Man.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I think I might have missed that one. Favorite quote. I got a lot. I don't know. Let me see. I have to pull this one up here. Let me see. Actually, I'll tell us. This needs to be our favorite quote. But let's see if I still have it written down. I need to memorize it because it's actually our. I'll pull it right up. It's our gym's one-liner, so it should be our favorite quote. I need to memorize it. That's pretty bad. Let's see.
Where's your gym located at, by the way?
We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, on the east side of Charlotte.
Okay.
Okay. CrossFit Axon is dedicated to improving health and fitness with a family-focused community. That is my favorite quote. And that needs to be my favorite quote. I got to work on memorizing that. Outside of that, the other ones I got are a little political leaning, so not so much fitness related. But yep, that is it, man.
Excellent. So finally, Curtis, where can our members or our viewers, listeners, where can they be able to reach you at?
Admin@crossfitaxon.com. And, yep.
Okay. And lastly, you've been a great guest here, brother. What can I or our listeners do for you and help you out with your fitness or your business?
Man, I don't know. I think we have a really good community in the Defender Fitness Alliance. Man, just keep putting in information. Everyone, just keep getting involved in it. And I think I'm pretty excited to see what it's going to come out of it. Beyond just right now, there's it seems like there's about 10 people talking, but I think more people need to engage. And I think there's a lot of potential. I think the more people engage, the more we can learn from each other and exchange ideas.
That's excellent, brother. Thanks for sharing that. And once again, thank you for joining us, Curtis. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy teaching down there in Charlotte. So thanks for taking the time and being part of this interview.
No worries, brother, man. Next I got to go to Boy Scouts in a little bit. Take my son to Boy Scouts. So.
All right, brother. Well, take it easy. For everyone watching, I thank you guys for tuning in, and I appreciate a like, comment, and share this video. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see y'all next time. So God bless.
All right, Brayden, have a good one.
You too.